Good evening. We're back in our virtual courtroom as the trial of the man accused of killing tech executive Bob Lee was back in action for its third week today. After some scheduled time off, it was a full day as jurors and Lee's family saw his deadly stabbing for the first time on surveillance video. Nima Momeni is charged with killing the Cash App founder last April with a kitchen knife. And last week, Momeni's sister, Kazar, took center stage as a key witness in the prosecution's case. Kazar Momeni testifying about partying and using drugs with Lee in the days leading up to the stabbing. The prosecution trying to prove that an overprotective Nima Momeni killed Lee after an argument over his sister, while the defense tried to show that their client had no motive and only acted in self-defense. Our Lauren Toms has been covering the trial from the very beginning. She was in court today as this video footage was shown the night under scrutiny for sure. Lauren.
Yeah, hey, Juliet. Today, for the first time, jurors saw video footage of the stabbing itself. But because of its low resolution, it leaves the question open as to whether jurors will side with the prosecution's theory that Momeni intended to stab Bob Lee, or will jurors side with the defense, who maintains their client acted in self-defense. Gasps could be heard inside the courtroom as jurors were shown surveillance video of Bob Lee collapsing in the street just after 2:30 in the morning, minutes after he was stabbed in the chest.
Very, very hard to watch.
Yeah.
Right? So it's of course you can expect that to be extremely hard to watch.
Yeah.
And but I think the video speaks for itself of what actually happened that day, and we look forward to justice being done.
It was the first time jurors saw footage of the moment prosecutors say Nima Momeni stabbed Lee on a dark street. The video, recorded from a residential apartment more than 100 feet above the street, shows two figures, one in light clothing identified as Momeni, the other in dark clothing identified as Lee. Momeni can be seen advancing towards Lee, but his attorney Shannon Dugan, who sat in on the trial, says it's unclear from the footage who was holding the knife.
If you take the defense question and interpretation that Bob Lee was circling Nima Momeni, that arguably could establish that Bob Lee was more of the aggressor. If you take it from the prosecution's position, Nima Momeni was advancing on Bob Lee. So it's an open question of how the stabbing occurred.
Jurors were shown more than an hour of video surveillance footage from before, during, and after the stabbing. Bob Lee could be seen entering the Millennium Tower apartments where Nima's sister Kazar lives around 12:45 a.m. on April 4th. Just over an hour later, he's seen leaving the building with Nima Momeni. The pair then drive down Beale Street, turn on to Folsom, then on to Main, and stop beneath the Bay Bridge, and that's where the stabbing took place.
So it's giving the jury a very vivid visual picture of the last 35 minutes of Bob Lee's life. And again, Bob Lee comes to life again. There's been so much testimony by Kazar Momeni and the focus on her that seeing these videos of Bob Lee in the last moments of his life has got to be very powerful for the jury.
4 SFPD officers testified Wednesday, including several who took photos inside of the apartments of both Kazar Momeni and her husband Dino. In each unit, officers found Joseph knives, the brand that matches the murder weapon.
While there isn't evidence of, for example, a knife block with only one knife missing, the paring knife that was the murder weapon, there isn't evidence of that. It doesn't appear that there will be. There is a link between the knives because it's a Joseph knife.
All the while, Bob Lee's family watches from the second row of the courtroom, reminded of the pain of his absence. Now, we also saw video footage immediately before and after the stabbing showing Momeni driving his white BMW. Before the stabbing, Momeni is seen driving normally, abiding by all traffic laws, while Bob Lee is inside of his vehicle. Now, after the stabbing, Momeni is seen running a red light and driving a bit more erratically as he makes his way across the Bay Bridge back to his Emeryville apartment. And these are details, Shannon says, that prosecutors may use to prove guilt in Momeni. Juliet.
Lauren Toms. Lauren, thank you. Lauren will be back in the courtroom tomorrow. You can find all of our coverage on the Bob Lee murder trial on our website, kpix.com.